Hello and welcome to this episode of Trish Rock TV and Energy Shift, changing energy, shifting perceptions. Today's inspiring guest is the gorgeous Lorna Hollinger. Today, Lorna is the founder of the Australian Tapping Institute, an international trainer and a multi-award winning business owner. But her journey began at 34 when Lorna was diagnosed with clinical depression and given prescription medication. She was drinking alcohol each day, in a toxic marriage, and wanting the world to stop so she could just get off for a while. Something needed to change. By 37, she found herself being a divorced mum who spent weekends planning her own suicide while her sons visited their dad. She was desperately searching for a way to feel better. Lorna bought her first personal development book around this time, and the journey into wanting more and realising that she could have more began. She started to seek out thought leaders who helped people to take control and transform their lives, like Tony Robbins, Louise Hay and Dr. Phil. And as she healed and her self-esteem grew, she wanted to help other people to do the same. So Lorna enrolled in a life coaching college. She felt she could really make a difference in this world for the first time in her life. She trains and supports heart-centered people now from across the globe to tap into their passions and create an abundant business. The Australian Tapping Institute, ATI, founded by Lorna, was initially created with one purpose in mind: to advance the reach of tapping, EFT, emotional freedom techniques, across Sydney and then beyond. From their humble beginnings, the Institute is growing rapidly. In 2015, group workshops were introduced, and now there are over 3 different Now they offer 3 different workshops, monthly tapping circle meetings, as well as private client sessions. In 2015, the ATI was granted accredited trainer status by the International Institute for Complementary Therapists, which allowed them to offer accredited practitioner of EFT training. Their first students graduated early 2016. And that year also saw the creation of the dedicated training room at HQ. In 2017, they extended reach and added an accredited practitioner of life coach training to the school. Lorna heads up the ATI with a passion for empowering people to create lasting change. Through her successful practitioner training, she is able to educate, motivate, and inspire you to unlock the potential within. She combines a range of tools and techniques that are fun, interactive, insightful, and effective to help you get long-lasting results, and fast. Like a pebble in a pond, the ripples of change that you create will positively influence your relationships with your partner, parents, children, colleagues, and friends. And it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Lorna Hollinger. Welcome.
Hey, Trish, thank you. Gosh, what a huge introduction. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, well, you know, you're just making a huge difference and making massive waves. So
I love every wave.
Yeah, what a journey you've had. And, you know, it all starts somewhere. And so at 34, it started for you, and we heard about your journey of personal development and, you know, wanting to make a difference in the world.
Probably even started a little bit younger, because my mum died when I was 18. We have no family in Australia, so I had a brother and a dad, and they kind of did whatever they did. So yeah, from a very young age, I was very independent, very much on my own, and had to figure it all out.
Yes, yeah, and it's all of the experiences in life that always bring us to where we're meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't change a bit. Oh, maybe I'd like Mum to hang out a bit longer, but, you know, in general.
Yeah. So, Lorna, I want to ask you, you know, a lot of people start the personal development journey and different modalities. What drew you to the EFT and the tapping, which we're going to talk a lot about today. What drew you to that? What was so fascinating?
I actually had a full client list, life coaching practice. I was an NLP practitioner, so I had life coaching diploma. So I actually had a real full practice. I was working a lot in the business space, so I was doing a lot of business coaching. And even though it was business owners, it was still personal stuff we were doing. So there was a lot of that happening. Mm. And a girlfriend who I'd gone to college with, she used to find all these modalities, and she goes, like, you need to go and do this tapping. I'm thinking, this is hoo-ha. Like, tapping on my own body, really, it can't possibly do anything. I'm a science girl. Show me the evidence. So I was really resistant. So eventually I went to visit her, and she goes, right, captive audience, let me demonstrate. Let me let you feel this. And that was the thing. Let me feel it. So she was the coach. I was the client. She knew a bit of my background, so she knew it to lead me through. I was sold. The energy shift and the feeling and the whole part of the process of knowing we work with clients and we do X amount in a session, but to be able to do this in a session, literally I was sold. So came home from Perth, looked for EFT. How do I get trained? How fast can I get trained? And added it to my client sessions as quick as I possibly could. It was just, as I said, you can do it on the internet, you can do it on YouTube, but there's nothing like doing it with a practitioner, with a person. There's nothing compares.
And so in the audience, the people listening, many people will already know about EFT and even be practicing it on their own or in their own way. But for those who don't know, what is EFT? Would you like to explain what it is and how it actually works? Of
course. So our bodies are energy circuitry. We know this, people who are in this space already know this. We are energy circuitry. The human body is a lot of electrical circuits. Many years ago, was it 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, the Chinese found acupuncture and acupressure points within the body. So we already know they exist. Now, when the human brain starts to tag memories, we have something that upsets us, something bothers us, the kids laugh in the school playground, dad shouts at us, whatever. The brain tags all those memories. So when we get introduced to a response today, so, you go to do public speaking and you just break out in a sweat, where did that come from? Or you're such a perfectionist, you can't get anything wrong, where did that come from? Those things, when they trigger, release your fight or flight in your brain. So, we will all know, you get that little energy circuit, the little bzz in your thing, someone says something, you feel a bit triggered, your face might flush. All of that is your fight, flight or freeze activating. You're triggered because of a memory. So where do we use EFT tapping? By tapping on the acupressure points, by tapping on the meridians of the body, it sends messages back to the brain that tagged memory is actually okay, that you're actually safe. So what we want to do is the more memories and events and stimuli and incidents that happen to you, the more we can untag, the less the stress response activates, the less this fight or flight activates, which in turn gives you a calmer life because you're not triggered by these things from your past and tagged memories. You're not worrying about something that's going to happen tomorrow based on something that happened yesterday or 6 years ago. Yeah. And it's all about untagging the memories in the brain, effectively rewire the brain so that they're no longer triggers and response in your today world. That's, I know, a little bit detailed, but it's kind of the simplistic way to kind of explain it.
And some of the memories are subconscious. We're not even aware of them. So it deals with that too. You don't have to know the specific thing that happened when you were, got that brain. Or
you're absolutely correct. So your unconscious brain, doesn't matter kind of what work we're doing, your unconscious brain knows what to go back to. It knows what to go and retrieve. So even if we're doing group tapping and I might be tapping with, my mum said this and she really upset me, even though you might not have a mum that said things that upset you, your brain will go and find a similar incident that happened with maybe a different stimulus, a sister, another parent, a colleague, a friend. It'll go and find the thing that's bothering you that's similar to that.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to know at all. Sometimes we never uncover it in sessions.
No.
And we have some techniques that we don't want to go back and re-traumatise our clients ever. We've got techniques that we can get rid of stuff from your past, even your childhood, without re-traumatising you today.
Yeah, and I think that's brilliant to do that, because otherwise you're just reliving it. You're just, back in that stress and reliving it. So
but we don't have to do that. We don't want to do that.
No, and I guess for some people also who know where the trauma started, they don't want to go back and visit that either. So the tapping sequence that you do can, gently change that without actually having to relive it.
It absolutely does, and that's the beauty of it. We can have sessions with clients where they divulge every detail of an incident, or we can have sessions with a client where they go, you know what, I want to keep this private. Tapping still works and is still equally as effective.
Amazing, isn't it? It's
yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. And I want to talk about the Institute first, because this is a really big thing that you started, and so your love of EFT and the results that it's bringing you and your clients, along with the other coaching that you do, has led you to founding this Institute for Tapping. I think it's incredible. So tell us a little bit about that. It's not that old. What are we talking about? 5 years? 4?
I think I registered the Australian Tapping Institute. I looked the other day, it was about 2015 or 16 that I actually registered Australian Tapping Institute. So I had been doing practitioner training a year or so before that. I just traded under my own name. So we actually started at my dining room table, Everybody starts somewhere, Apple started in a garage. And so ATI actually started at my dining room table, and it was probably in about 2014 that I did my first practitioner training. Wow. It was an accredited program back then as well. But the ATI itself didn't start till 2016. And I sat here, I'd come up with the name of the girlfriend, a business coach girlfriend, and then another girlfriend, and I sat with my big whiteboard one afternoon and just pulled the whole business model apart. Pulled apart my workshops, my group workshops, my private sessions, what really lights me up, what really excites me, and it came back to training. It came back to my biggest passion, my biggest joy comes from training people, and it just led into, well, let's go and make practitioner training the biggest and best training that I can create.
Yeah.
To impact the most people. How do I do it better than anybody else? I'm a bit of a full-on kind of woman. How do I do it better than anyone else? Research everyone else in the market. How are they doing it? Yeah. How do I do it different? How do I do it better?
Yeah.
So our program today is 100% online. We are global. Yeah. No more traveling to training. No more waiting for trainers.
Yeah.
We've just harnessed technology from one end of it to the other and very successfully emulate a whole training program online.
It's amazing, isn't it? And embracing that technology is important, because people are kind of looking for that. So
correct.
Yeah.
We come together in training. We do live training in Zoom rooms. Yeah. They all get in there and they all talk and they introduce themselves, and it's pretty cool.
It's just like being there, really.
Correct.
So that's amazing. So you still have your own clients. Is it different? Like the people who come to you as clients, do they progress to practitioner training, or are there two separate kind of clients that you have? The ones that want to become practitioners and the ones who just want the healing?
Yeah, very, very, very different. Which, when I talked about my girlfriend, I pulled my whole business model apart on a board. Yeah. It was recognizing that the person who came for healing and transformation and was at that space for themselves, the jump for them to practitioner was too big.
Yes.
It just was too big a gap. And that's where I was falling apart. I was finding I was trying to fit that and it didn't fit. So split it straight down the middle. The people who we attract as school students, they're people who are the energy pioneers, the people who are ready to make a difference, the people that know that they want to go and do something different with their life. They've done a lot of the work. They've done a lot of the healing.
Mm.
They are very much a different bucket to the people who come for personal work.
Yes, yes. And they would obviously be wanting that modality to add to their kit of what they already do in their their practices as well.
Correct. Some of them come with absolutely nothing. Some of them come with, I'm ready to create a business, I want to help other people.
Yep.
And that's why my product is a dual certification. It's EFT practitioner and life coach together, so that they walk away with a whole qualification in how do we do tapping with people, how do we actually talk to people, how do we communicate, how do we ask great questions, how do we understand human behaviour, and then how do we market a business, how do we create a business structure. So that is all contained in my actual school, in my actual program. Right. So you walk away with the business in a box.
Yeah, and it's important, isn't it? Because there's a gap there for so many people, and in life coaching or in any, spiritual practices or businesses, you kind of, it's interesting because I see people who are really great with their practices, but not with the business, and other people who are really very business minded, but can't quite get the word across to get the clients in. So you have to kind of bring that together, and I think it's great that you encompass all of that, because if someone goes through a particular training to open up a practice, they need the basics, the foundations, the practical stuff. You need the practical.
So do we. We have specific modules just on business planning, understanding who your ideal client is. I make my students do videos in our private Facebook groups so they get used to leading and get used to seeing themselves on video and get used to marketing principles. And we do a lot of conversations on marketing and money and all the stuff that you need to develop a practice, because otherwise how do you get your message out to the world?
Well, absolutely. And, you also need that money coming in, because we are human. And we live a practical life. So it's important to have both. And there's been a real...
here's the other side for me too. The more money you earn, the more other stuff you can do. So my plan is to build a charity.
Beautiful.
If my business isn't earning plenty of money, I can't put my charity in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, there's this whole reciprocal thing of people get very upset about spiritual and money and can I have both? It allows you to give in so many more places because you're earning this money that for the gifts that you have.
That's what I was going to say. It allows you to give in a much bigger way, and it's actually a good thing. It's really a good thing. Yeah.
We have lots of conversations about money in our school.
Yeah. And I know that women and money, the association with women and money is different too. So that's a changing mindset, which I'm sure you go through with people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And particularly in this healing space that we all sort of work in, the healers, the body workers, and because to me that's where EFT really is. It's about that holistic healing the whole body. It's not just about coaching and sets and goals. It's about resolving a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
In that space, we seem even less inclined to ask fees that are in alignment with the value we give and the work that we do and the transformation we create.
Absolutely, because I know, all the people who practice spiritual modalities, and what you do, and all the different modalities you have. You spend years training. It's not as if you've only just known it for 5 minutes, and so there's the value is there, and often I think in different spiritual practices, people, and it's a female thing as well, the giving, the I have to give for free. It's been ingrained into us. But all of the work and the inner work that goes into getting us in a place where we can teach, there's a lot of value in that. And when we can recognize that in ourselves, that's really when you get to the point where you can charge that. And so tapping really helps get rid of a lot of those old beliefs.
I find a lot of self-worth issues are attached to it for women as well. We we undervalue ourselves. And so I find, as I said, my students coming through, we do a lot of work on the self-worth stuff as well. That, you know, I am worthy, and I am worthy of this money. I'm worthy of what I do, and recognising their gifts and their talents to help them get over that self-worth stuff. Because I find what you charge is relevant to your self-worth.
Absolutely. And if you don't get over that, you can't be helping anybody else.
Correct.
Because you can't afford to keep going.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So what are your top tips for entrepreneurs and business owners?
Probably the same sort of stuff I give my students. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Particularly as women, we seem to juggle, I think in an entrepreneurial space for women, we seem to juggle more balls. We can have kids, family, career, looking after mum and dad, making sure other people are okay. It just feels, and look, maybe I'm wrong, it just feels like we juggle some extra balls now.
Yeah.
And I just think, be kind to yourself. Be patient. Be patient with yourself of what you're learning, the work that you're doing on yourself. Just be really, really patient with it is probably one of the big things. If I'm talking, and part of this is businessy stuff, be strategic.
Yeah.
Get some patience behind you and be strategic. Put something in place and test it and watch how it works. And then go and put something else in place and see how that works. Rather than this whole idea we have to overhaul our whole life in a day.
Yes.
Steps. Just steps. Did this work? Does it not work? Is it working for me? Yep, I'll go do something else. Yeah. And then the next thing. So they're probably my two biggest things, kindness and strategic.
Yeah, that's big lessons I've learnt over the years in business as well. And more recently, just listening to people like Gary Vaynerchuk who kind of say, you know, let the market judge what they want. You know, we can't. So often I think we say, right, this is what people want, I'm going to put it out there. And then you kind of feel that you've failed because it's not what they want. But if you just keep, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And as you say, see what works, what doesn't work, because we don't really know what other people want. We think we do. And just keep doing that. And I think self-care is really important too.
Yes.
I'm a bit of an overachiever as well. And when I'm in that mindset, I just go from dawn till whenever, and I just go and go and go. And it's not always productive. But now the self-care is so important, because when you're resting, when you're recuperating, when you're having that time of just being inward, that's when the ideas come. And at a greater rate and with more ease than trying to make it happen. So
I used to work till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I'd be up writing and typing, and I'd be exhausted the next day, and I just always felt like I was pushing, push. And when I stopped doing that, wow, the things flow.
Because that energetic resistance just drops, doesn't it? And it starts flowing in. So that would be, you know, something in the practitioner training, I would imagine, that you encourage people to do as well.
Yeah, we have a whole module on self-care. Whole module. And it includes all the woohoo stuff from saging right down to meditating, walking, everything in there. Everything's in that of let's look after ourselves. Because I know when I first started my practice as a coach, very easy to get burnout, particularly doing energy work when the tapping come in. Really, really quick to get burnout, exhausted, just couldn't do anything else. I'm now very protective of my calendar, so I make sure I don't book too many things in the 1 week. Very, very careful of that to maintain what I need to maintain for me.
Because that's the thing, when you're doing this work, you're not only just using your mind, you're using a lot of energy. And people, that's the invisible. People can't see that we're giving that all that energy. And you really need to pace it out a little bit, because otherwise everybody else ends up with all of your energy and you end up an empty shell rocking in the corner somewhere.
And for me, there's a bit of boundaries, learning boundaries of, actually, no, I can't do that for you, or actually, no, I can't fit that in, or I can't do that this week, but I can do it in 3 weeks. For me, it was learning boundaries as well, of not allowing someone else's agenda to dictate what was going to happen for me. That was a big one for me as well.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a lesson everybody is becoming more aware of, and certainly a lot of the clients I work with. You know, it's really, look, say no when you mean no. It's really important, and you know, let life fit in with you.
And it's okay to say no. They're still going to love you. They're still going to like you. You're still going to be okay.
Yeah,
it's okay to put you first sometimes, and I think we forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Well, we forget that because we've been trained the other way. But we're coming out of the haze. We're coming out of that all of that pretense and the lies. So I was just wondering, I'll put you on the spot for a minute. Would you do a short, just like a 1 or 2 minute tapping routine to show people who maybe not be aware of what it is, of how
Absolutely.
it works? Yeah.
Sure. So are we going to be visual, or are we going to be auditory? Are we going to be, am I okay to tap you along?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So what do we need everybody to do? Just comfortable and
all right, so going to be comfortable. I'm going to show you the points, and then we'll do a quick routine. So
beautiful.
So it's on the squeaky bit here.
All right.
Doesn't matter which hand.
Yeah.
Either hand works. The next one's on the eyebrow, so it's kind of at the end of the hairline. Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, that's the eyebrow. The next one's side of eye, so it's not up on the temple. It's here. Yep.
Oh,
perfect.
Like top of the cheekbone. Okay.
A little bit higher. Yeah, up in there it is.
Okay.
Because remember, we're accessing energy circuitry, the meridians. And anyone who's done any Google searches, meridians run all through our body, little electrical circuits.
Yes.
The next one's on the cheekbone.
Yep.
The next one's under the nose. The next one's on the chin, so on the fold, not down on the point, so the fold in here.
Yep.
The next one's on the collarbone, and you can do that flat-handed. It's really easy to do it flat-handed.
Yep.
Now, if you look on YouTube, they do under the arm. Sweaty, big, busted women in Australia, I dropped that out of my repertoire. I just don't do that one anymore. And then on top of the head, where the fontanelle was, right up on the top. Yeah, beautiful.
Wonderful. Okay.
They're our points. So what I want people to do is, don't think through this, feel. Just relax in, follow me, just listen to what I'm saying. If you miss a point, don't worry, just go to the next point, don't get too worked up, and let's do some grounding tapping.
Beautiful.
Really grounded. This is always a really good one.
Yes.
But even though I'm on this call,
and
I've got lots of things to do, I am going to choose to love and accept who I am. I'm on this call. Lots of other things to be doing. But I'm on this call. Love and accept who I am. I'm on this call. So many other things to be doing. I'm going to allow myself to be here. Permission to be here. And to feel into all of this. So now we're just going to tap through the points. Now I'm not going to say the points, so just with the next sentence, just move to the next point and don't feel, close your eyes if you want to, feel it. Permission to be here. So, sorry Trish, if I can get you to repeat after me.
Permission to be here.
Sorry, permission to be here. I'm breathing into this space. Permission to be here. Take time for me. Time for my own healing. Time for me. Permission to be here. To take time for myself. To calm. To relax. To feel into my body. Feel into this space. Allow and relax. Allow and calm. Give myself permission. To feel into my body. To relax into my body. Sense of calm. Sense of peace. Feeling into myself. Time for me. To calm. To relax. To to feel grounded,
to feel grounded,
to feel present,
to feel present,
present in my body,
present in my body,
calm in my mind,
calming my mind,
present in my body,
present in my body,
calm,
calm,
relaxed,
relaxed,
present,
present,
peaceful,
peaceful,
with me,
in my body,
present.
present.
Okay, we take a big, deep breath. I like to describe it as I start to feel like my blood moves in my veins is how I feel tapping does. And I find the more tapping you do, the more that tends to happen. It's almost like the effects are cumulative, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The more you do tapping, the easier and the quicker it is to get there and to feel the sensations.
Yeah, you can kind of, for me, yeah, it feels like energy running through my body. I can feel that. So, yeah,
Look how quick that took us, a couple of minutes every day to do that with it. I know before you leave the house, before you put your feet on the floor, brushing your teeth, whatever, just that feeling centered and grounded for a couple of minutes of tapping works wonders.
It's amazing. Thank you. And I'm sure everybody listening and watching this would enjoy that as well. Feel free to come back and watch the replay too and do it again.
And make this a daily practice. Daily practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so different to affirmations. Affirmations are also important too, but this is so different because you're telling the body to shift energy in some way. And it's amazing.
And when we're doing tapping with a practitioner or on a YouTube video or on yourself, we actually acknowledge all of the negative feelings that we're feeling. We actually do a lot of tapping on the negative stuff of, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm cranky, all this negative stuff. And people get a little bit concerned that tapping focuses a lot on negative language.
Yeah.
The idea is you're feeling those feelings anyway. It's thoughts you're having anyway. Let's get them up. Let's get them released. Let's get them resolved. And we would usually finish a tapping session with positive tapping, with the I'm amazing, I'm fabulous, I can do this, and build back into that space that we've just cleared with positive words. But we absolutely acknowledging tapping. Let's talk about the negative stuff.
Well, the thing is that a lot of people just suppress it and it doesn't go away. You need to recognize, yes, I am angry, and I need to say I'm angry and recognize it and be okay with it and then shift it. And it's a bit different to say, well, I'm angry and I just don't want to even go there because I just want to get rid of it. But you're just pushing it down. So this brings it out. And I know with the negative or the issue that you're trying to tap through, it's really only just at the beginning to recognize it. The rest of it is shifting the energy to something more positive.
Yeah, and untagging the memory around it as well, so that it doesn't come back up and it doesn't re-trigger and it doesn't get you going again.
Absolutely, yeah. It's so fascinating, isn't it?
It is. I fell in love with it, and I fall in love with it more and more each day with just the stuff we shift and change and move and it's
incredible. It's incredible. Now, you've got an amazing free offer that people listening can go over and do. I'll let you explain it. It's just incredible, and I think I'll head over there as well. But let us know, let everybody listening know how they can go and do some tapping for free with you.
Absolutely. So there's a couple of options available. What I did was I created a free program and it's called the Self-Love Project. Working with clients was just this whole, you could just hear them and see them, that this lack of self-love was at the core of so much what was going on for them. So I have a free program. It's called the Self-Love Project. It is 4 weeks of workbooks and videos.
Wow.
All free. Download them. Work at your own pace through them. And the idea is let's get that critical voice to get that inner coach to come up and talk as loud as the negative voice. And then let's start looking at, well, what do you want your life to be about? How do you become happy? How do you get to a happier place? So it's a 4-week program, completely free for everybody to have, all based on tapping.
Wow.
The other one that we created was, because I do practitioner training of EFT and life coaching, I wanted a program that gave people a bit of an idea what life coaching was even about. So I created Your Life by Design. I feel if you're not designing your life, you're going to live somebody else's.
Yeah.
So this is about the basics of life coaching. What sort of questions might you be working with clients? What sort of things may you be taking clients through? So again, there's a workbook. There's, I think, 5 or 6 audios that go with that workbook. Download them all for free. They're yours. And work through it and get a bit of an idea what sort of coaching conversations we would have to help shift people's world. So neither one comes first before the other. Self-Love Project is probably a real introduction to tapping. The Your Life by Design is, as I said, a self-coaching tool. We then transfer that into being a practitioner. So if you go to www.australiantappinginstitute.com.au, top right-hand side, you'll see a button and it will say Home Study. It will take you to our online school. Enroll yourself. Click on both of the 2 free courses and they're yours. My gift to everybody to just, let's get some healing happening, and they're yours.
That's amazing. That's a really comprehensive gift that you're offering, and I know, I really encourage everybody listening to go there and go and explore it, whichever one or both draws you in. Go and explore them, because it really will make a big difference. You'll feel the change. With EFT, you feel the change, and then with the coaching, I would imagine that's practical tips as well as moving through self-doubt and things like that. Yeah,
we look at beliefs, we look at communication style, we look at how you communicate, and the workbook is about awareness of self, and then how you could do different. Awareness of self, how can I do different? And it's not meant to challenge anyone in terms of you're doing anything wrong. It's purely a tool to go, if I would like to do better, how might that look? How might I be able to do that? It just facilitates that shift for you.
So it's self-awareness, and until we're aware of what we're actually doing, we don't know what to change. So that would really help with that too. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Well, I've got all the links to your website and to the home study here for people to click on. Do you have? I've also got. You've got a Facebook page as well that people can connect with. So I've got that here as well. So go and connect with Lorna and see how this could change your life. It's really good.
You just do tapping for you. Fabulous, fantastic. It's transformational. If practitioner training, life coaching, and creating a career out of this, even if it's a side hustle, sounds like something for you, get in touch and see if practitioner training is even something for you. We have people in our school who are doing the practitioner training with no intentions of ever being a practitioner. One woman's got a thriving oils business. She's using it for her leadership for her oils business.
Wow, okay.
Understanding people, understanding how to talk to her team below her and how to lead them.
And the business as well.
Absolutely.
It's gosh, it sounds so comprehensive. Well, what a blessing you are to the world and creating the change that you're creating, one person at a time. And what are the plans with your institute? You're now where are you? It's online, but
100% online.
Yep. So
I said world domination before.
Yep.
Yeah, I've said world domination. So the plan is world domination. My business coach tells me I need to own all of Australia first before I go international. But that is my plan, is to drive EFT as a therapy for either a self-help tool or more practitioners and therapists out there in the world doing great things. My plan is to absolutely drive it into markets that it's never been in before, get exposure for it. It's so new here in Australia. It's been rocking in America for like 3 decades, but it's so new here. So for me, it's how do I make it bigger, better, and have everybody with access to it? So I laugh about world domination, but maybe there's a little bit of truth in that.
I'm sure. Let's see what 2020 brings. Well, Lorna, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us. It's really going to, just the tapping sequence we did and all the information you've shared is really going to help the people listening. And for those of you who are listening, please go and connect with Lorna. Any last words of advice you'd like to share?
No, just, as I said, kindness. Be kind to you, be patient with you, know that you're doing the absolute best that you can with the resources you've got. You want to go do better? Go get more resources.
Yeah.
Really, really, really simple. And, for you, Trish, thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute joy when you invited me on to connect with your audience and the people that you get to lead and play with and spend time with. And so thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you. And thank you everybody for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you next week on the next episode of Trish Rock TV. Bye for now.
Bye.